I'm the Scarlet Witch, period. With this asshole. This is now all making sense. This is all making sense. You are married to a toaster. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is going to be very different from anything I had on this channel. I had this idea while I was talking to some friends and we were discussing it, and they gave me the idea to film a video about it, and it's going to be about the Marvel new show, actually the first show they have, and it's Wandavision. This one was really great. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed talking about it on the internet. I enjoyed discussing it with some friend, and I could not shut up about it. And I had discussion with some friends, as I say, and they told me that to film a video talking about all the theories that I had while talking about the show. Actually, the show is now finished. It is nine episodes show, and I just loved it so much. I enjoyed it so much, and I couldn't stop talking about it. But most, if not all, the theories that I had turned out wrong, which made me so bitter, and I could not forgive how Marvel played us, and especially me, because they give us hints all along the show that certain things are going to be happening, but then they cancel them the next episode, and it was so frustrating, and I cannot describe how furious I was. I'm not really mad about how the show ended and how it was revealed who the bad guy is, but I am still bitter about how things turned out not as the theories that I had online. For this, I have my whiteboard here. I'm going to be just talking randomly and talking everywhere about all the theories that I had and what actually happened and how wrong I was and what's going to be happening after, and how WandaVision is going to be linking all the shows and the movies that are going to be coming after, and also starting the new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, before we go into this video, I'm going to be dropping a warning. This is going to be filled with spoilers, so if you have not watched any movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm talking about 23 movies that are out there about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or you have not yet to watch WandaVision, I would recommend to go watch the movies, go watch WandaVision, and go back and watch this video, because it's going to be filled with spoiler all over the video, so you are warned.
Behold!
It's actually not mine. I just borrowed it from my neighbor's daughter and balanced on a bunch of books, because this is a last minute improvisation. I thought that I'm going to be making this video more professional than it turned out to be, but at last minute, this is a Saturday, and I was thinking, okay, this is a day off, I'm going to be making use of this day off and filming something. I thought if I slept on it and waited till another day, I'm not going to be filming it. WandaVision takes place after the event of Endgame and Infinity War. The world is back, people are back, but Wanda is left alone. Vision was killed because he had the Mind Stone. Mind Stone was taken back to its time by Captain America. Wanda is left alone, and yeah, she had no one. And the show starts with Wanda Vision happily married in the suburb in 50s. As you continue to watch each episode, you have some clues left here and there. I'm just going to be talking about the necessities in each episode and what triggers some of the theories that I had online. Just spoiler alert, this is all going to be wrong because, as I said, the show has ended. All the theories that I had and I had shared with some friends turned out to be wrong, and I was so pissy and I was so frustrated and angry because Marvel has played us all and given us some clues and making us feel like we are smart when we came up with how the show is going to be ending, and then cancel them in the next episode. I just wanted to let out the things that I had thought of when I was watching WandaVision. So the first episode was inspired by a 50s sitcom called The Dick Van Dyke Show. Second one was inspired by a 60s sitcom called I Love Lucy and Bewitched. The third one was set in the 70s and it was in color, inspired by Full House and Family Ties. We have the first sequence of the titles, really a frame to frame with all the sitcom that I had mentioned. So the 80s was inspired by some kind of show. I forgot the name of.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
We have a bunch of reference to a lot of sitcoms throughout the decade. In the first episode, we see that Wanda. Okay, this is coming off and it is really frustrating me. But anyways, in the first episode we see that Wanda and Vision are happily married and they had just moved on into this posh new neighborhood in the suburbs, and they wake up one day to find that they had marked a day on their calendar thinking that this is their anniversary. Both of them doesn't know what this mark is about, so Wanda is thinking that this is their anniversary while Vision is trying to remember actually why he had marked these days. But when he came to work, he found out that he has invited his boss and his wife to a dinner party. So there were a lot of misunderstanding between them, a lot of gags. This was funny and, you know, just a normal 50s sitcom. When Wanda was trying to make things work, we see that she is still the person that we had met in the previous movies and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and also Vision is the still synth toys that was created by Iron Man and the Hulk, but they are just taking a role, faking it in this new neighborhood so they can start anew. It is still fuzzy when we start the show, and we have in each episode we have these commercial breaks. Each commercial break is actually more confusing than the episode. In this episode we have a commercial for a toaster which was made by Stark Industries. This is all in black and white, by the way, but when the toaster starts beeping and we see that he has a little light that was red, and also the sound that was making it was similar to the bomb that actually killed Wanda and Pete's parents when they were in Sokovia and they were kids. So you can see that this is all created by Wanda. This is some kind of reality alternative universe that she had made when she is happily married to Vision. But throughout the dinner, when the boss starts asking Wanda and Vision about their past, where they came from and when did they meet and when did they marry, both of them had no idea about anything that happens before the episode. And then the boss starts choking to death when he starts like asking them aggressively about whatever that was happening. We think that this was kind of reaction from Wanda trying to shut him up, and you can see that basically Vision was frozen the whole time until Wanda told him to help him. So this also hints that Vision is under the control of Wanda, and this is all Wanda. The first theory that I had when I was watching the first episode was that Iron Man has left this kind of project that he has made and that was shown in Captain America and Civil War called BARF, and which is actually just like a VR thing when you get to relive some moments and memories that you had, and they'll look very real. So I was thinking that maybe after Iron Man has died and he knew that Wanda is going to be left all alone, he gave her this project so she can make a fake reality with the person that she loved. So yeah, that was the first theory. Is not my best actually, but it turns out to be wrong, and it was not strong because I dropped that theory after the second or the third episode, because I can't remember why I did that, but I actually did, and I forgot about it till now when I was writing down what I'm going to be talking about this video. So the first episode ended up, it was still confusing. We still don't know what's actually happening. By the second and the third episode, we start to see that the reality and this perfect suburb life was not that perfect after all. In the second episode, when Wanda was having a meeting with the woman of the neighborhood, and she was near this radio, and you can hear the voice of a man asking her, Wanda, who is doing this to you? At first you don't know who is this man speaking, but the voice was familiar, and it is actually belonging to Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo was an FBI agent that was first introduced in Ant-Man yeah, it was first introduced in Ant-Man. He was in charge of keeping Ant-Man home confined, and this is his voice. I was thinking that maybe someone is putting Wanda through all of this, and then my stupidest idea, and I don't think that I'm going to be coming up with any theories as crazy and as stupid as this one. And now we get to introduce a character that I believed is going to be responsible for all of this. I think when every episode ended, and I had this friend that I was always talking about Wandavision with, and I always message him like, this is going to be this character. I believe it's like 90%. I was sure that this character is going to be introduced, and this is Mephisto. So who's Mephisto? Mephisto is this kind of the devil in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is shown in a lot of Doctor Strange comics, and he is always the evil in Doctor Strange comics, and basically he just like, you make a wish for him and he grants you this wish in exchange of your soul, basically the devil. So I was thinking that maybe Mephisto has made, okay, this is coming off and it's so maybe Wanda has made a deal with this Mephisto in exchange for him to create something and to give her something, give her vision back, and in exchange of her soul or whatever she has bargained for. I believed in the Mephisto theory so hard, and until like the last episode I was believing that Mephisto is going to be showing up. So I cannot express how mad I was when the whole thing was not related to Mephisto. So I just bear with my stupidness. I'm going to be talking about Mephisto a lot in this video. So yeah, I was thinking that maybe Mephisto was behind all of this, because there are a lot of hints in this show. When WandaVision is pregnant and she gave birth to a twin, Tommy and Billy, and this just reinforced the idea of Mephisto in my mind, because in the comics you see that Wanda has twins, Tommy and Billy, which were just like a fabrication of her mind, and in the end Mephisto has absorbed the kids so he can have some power and some of Wanda's power. So I was thinking that this is going to be happening. Wanda has her twins and Mephisto is going to be showing up so he can have the twins, and he can kind of blackmail her slash take her power through her twins. So yeah, I was just like so confident that Mephisto is going to be showing up anytime in the show, and he did not show up. So I'm still bitter and I'm still angry about this, and I talk about this with passion.
With passion!
I cannot believe that I believed in Mephisto, and the thing is that Marvel actually made it obvious that Mephisto is going to be showing up, because we know that in the new Doctor Strange movie, the Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multi-Universe, it has the multi-universe in the title. Wanda is going to be one of the main characters, so I was thinking, yeah, so because Wanda is going to be one of the main characters in Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange has to show up, and who's the villain in most of the Doctor Strange comics? Mephisto. I was sold on the Mephisto theories, and I cannot believe that it turned out wrong, because it was one of my strongest theories. It was one of my proudest moments to think about Mephisto. Fast forward, we have an episode, the 4th episode, when we see something from the outside of Westview. By the 3rd episode, we are introduced to this character called Geraldine, and Geraldine actually is Monica Rambeau, the daughter of Captain Marvel friend, and we saw her in Captain Marvel movie. She was a little girl, and she was the one who has chosen the color for Captain Marvel's costume. So we know that this is Monica Rambeau. So I was thinking, so yeah, maybe she is in Westview inside this place as a spy for whoever is doing this, or she is trying to rescue Wanda because Wanda is under some control. So basically, Monica was there, one of the residents of Westview. She was acting like anyone from there. She was this happy neighbor, always there to help Wanda, and actually she helped Wanda deliver her twins. And by the end of that episode, Wanda was talking about having a twin called Pietro, and then Monica broke out of character and told her that your twin was killed by Ultron, which is the first indication of the past events in Wandavision. We have no knowledge or recognition of whatever was happening in the previous movies. So when she mentioned Ultron, my interest peaked. And then Monica, aka Geraldine, was shown with this necklace with a sword in it. And I know about sword, which is the counterpart of shield. Shield is basically for anything that's happening on Earth, and sword is for the threat of anything that's happening in space. So yeah, if shield is the FBI, then sword is the CIA, because they deal with a lot of UFOs. I was like, okay, so maybe sword is trying to protect and rescue Wanda, and they sent Geraldine, they sent Monica Rambeau, aka Geraldine, inside this reality universe, call it whatever you want, and she is trying to rescue her, and she is trying to make sense of whatever is happening. But then Geraldine, she was as confused as anyone who is watching the show, because she did not understand where she is or whatever is happening. So I was confused, because I was like, Geraldine, you are here to rescue Wanda and you don't know what's actually happening. But then Wanda realized that Geraldine did not belong to the neighborhood, which again implied that this is all Wanda happening, this is all her making, and she is in control of everything that's happening around her. And then she throws away Geraldine outside this universe, and this is our first glimpse to whatever is happening outside the control of whatever is happening. After this episode, we are taken to outside Westview, and we have 3 characters, that 2 we already know and 1 who is a new addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So my gluing arranging stuff is not my strongest, as you can all see. But I'm trying to make do of whatever I have on my hand right now. So yeah, bear with me, and I hope it delivers, because I don't know if you can see everything, but I hope it delivers. After Geraldine was thrown from whatever was happening in Westview, the neighborhood where Wanda and Vision were married in the suburb in the 50s and the 60s or whatever was happening, we get a glimpse of the outside world. So the 4th episode starts with a glimpse at what actually happened when half of the universe was restored. Because we know that Thanos, in the end of Infinity War, he erased half of the universe. But when our friend and heroes got all 5 stones, they restored the world. Monica Rambeau, this gorgeous person here. Okay, this is spelling off again. Monica Rambeau. Yes, Monica Rambeau. She is the daughter of Captain Marvel's best friend, and we have first met her when she was a little girl. When she was the one who chose Captain Marvel's costumes, the color on her costume. She was one of the people that were erased when Thanos has snapped his fingers. Then she goes back to Sword. Now we have some things to work with. Sword, we know what Sword is. We say that shield, but for space. And she went back, and it is revealed that her mother was the president of Sword, but after she died, some kind of person called Hayward was the one who in control of Sword. This is Hayward. When Monica goes back to her work at Sword, she found out that after the death of her mother, Hayward now is in charge of Sword, and she sees that a lot of things are different from what she used to be, and she has her first field mission, and she has to go to meet Jamie Woo. So Jamie Woo has a witness in the witness protection program that lives in Westview, and then this person went AWOL, so he went to investigate. But when he went there and asked about Westview, no one knew about Westview, even though he was just standing behind the plaque with the name Westview and asking the sheriff there. He was like, no, this is not Westview, this is Eastview. So Monica meets Jamie Woo. Then Monica went so close to the Force, and then she was absorbed inside the Force, which makes sense because we see her, she was later introduced in the sitcom Wandavision sitcom as a neighbor in Westview. Hayward made camp around Westview, trying to understand what is actually happening in Westview. And we have Darcy Lewis. We had first met Darcy Lewis in Thor, the first 2 movies. She was one of the scientists that had discovered Thor hammer and discovered Thor when he was cast down from Asgard. And seeing her again in this show was a treat, a delight, because I love Darcy. And then she revealed that the force and the power that was around Westview resembled the force and the energy when the Big Bang happened, and which is like, it makes sense because all of this is happening because of an Infinity Stone, and the Infinity Stone were created when the Big Bang happened. So now we kind of understand what is actually happening with View, but at the same time we have a lot of unanswered questions. They were all talking about it with Hayward and trying to understand the situation that was happening in Westview when the alarms went off. Geraldine was thrown from Westview. The first things that she said that it's all Wanda, it's all Wanda. So now we kind of see that this is all happening because of Wanda, but I still held on to the theory of Mephisto. I still believe that this is all Mephisto, and I was so stupid to think about it, but I still believe that this is all Mephisto. By, I think, the 5th episode, things started to take another turn. Vision was at work, and he started to sense that something is wrong happening with the neighborhood, and he tried to talk to one of his friends called Norm, put his hand on his mind and take him out of the trains that he is living in. And the first thing he said that she is in control, she is the one doing all of this, please don't make her do all of that. So first thing that Vision thought about is that Wanda is putting people all this fake reality and trying to make her vision with Vision. So when he confronted his wife Wanda, she was like, I don't know when this happened, which was a surprise because I was 50% sure that this is all Wanda and 50% sure that this is Mephisto. But when she said that she doesn't know how all of this started, she doesn't know how all of this came, where all of this came from, I was like, okay, this is 100% Mephisto. But then the house bell was ringing, and Vision was like, okay, you are making this one. And she said, no, I'm not making it. When they opened the door, we are confronted with Pietro. And now I realized that I have forgot to print Pietro's picture from. Oh, I forgot it, but I'm going to be making it here. Okay? Okay. We know that Pietro in The Age of Ultron was played by this actor, I forgot his name, but then when he was introduced in this episode, he was played by Evan Peters, who is Quicksilver, aka Pietro, in the X-Men franchise. So, just to put you in the context, X-Men is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but since it was bought by Fox and Marvel was bought by Sony Disney, they could not plug in X-Men in the story of whatever was happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But now Disney has bought the legal right to include X-Men in their future projects. I was thinking, okay, this is now all making sense. This is all making sense. Pietro is right to be there because Wanda is using her power to make a portal or any kind of way between the universes. You know, I was thinking that the X-Men universe and the universe that where the events of the Avenger was happening were two different universes, and then Wanda was the tunnel, the nexus being that was connecting both of them. So I was thinking, since Pietro is dead and in another continent, she pulled Pietro that we know from the X-Men franchise. I was totally believing in that, and okay, so now I was 100% focused on the idea that this is all a multi-universe situation. Because one, we have Pietro, aka Quicksilver from X-Men, being the one who came back and not the actor that we were introduced to in Age of Ultron. Two, because the next movie in Doctor Strange, called Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multi-Universe, and Wanda is one of the main characters in that movie, so I was thinking that she is going to be making a huge mess in the multi-universe, and then Doctor Strange is going to be intervening and trying to make things right. And I was so believing in this. It turned out to be wrong, you know, but I was believing in it at the time, and I still believed in it until like the last episode. I just realized I did not talk about one of the main characters, one of the most important characters in the show, and it is Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness.
A few moments later.
Before I touch up on the subject of Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness, I wanted to talk about the theories that I had so far, which is we now has reached, I think, half of the show discussion, and I'm going to be talking about all the theories that I had so far till I watched the 5th episode of the show. So the first thing I thought is that Mephisto is the one who is in control of all of this. He created this fake reality in exchange of some part of Wanda's power. She was the one who just went for him and reached out so he can create this fake reality for her to have the future that she has envisioned when she had met Vision. And because Vision is dead, and trying to cope with the death of Vision. The second theory I had is that, but first I was thinking, how could Wanda be in contact with Mephisto, because so far we have no idea about who Mephisto is. Besides, anyone who has read the comics will know that he's one of the villains who was always introduced in Doctor Strange comics. Whenever Doctor Strange is, I think it was mentioned that Mephisto is the one who made things go wrong. So I was thinking that Mephisto did not came as the being that he is, and he impersonated a person who reached out to Wanda. So who is the person? Is going to be Hayward. I thought that Hayward is Mephisto for a long time, because by the episode when we are introduced to when Geraldine, aka Monica Rambeau, came back from the Hex, and they were trying to assess what actually was happening in Westview, and she was giving her feedback about what's happening in Westview, and Hayward showed them a video of Wanda that she had stormed the Sword facility trying to recover the body of Vision, and we see that Vision was actually torn apart, and which just make you realize that Sword was trying to put him back, but since he doesn't have the Mind Stone, since he doesn't have the Mind Stone, he cannot be back. So Sword were trying to find a way so he can come back and they can use him as a weapon. So when Hayward showed them this video, I had two ideas. First is that Wanda has actually taken Vision's body, and she has created put back a kind of Infinity Stone. She made like a fake Infinity Stone, so he was the one living with her in the suburbs. Or she actually did not steal Vision's body, and okay, here's Vision. Not steal Vision's body, but Hayward was trying to frame her as the bad guy because he is Mephisto. So I was linking him, that's why I put him here, because I was thinking that Hayward is Mephisto, and actually they kind of look alike. If you look, you can see it, but they kind of actually look alike. So yeah, I was thinking that Hayward is Mephisto. And then Monica was saying that she believed that Wanda was not the bad guy here. She believed that she is actually doing some things, and she is not the one who is putting all the people through this, which is a strong claim for someone who was under her control. But she is trying to prove that Hayward, he is doing something for Wanda, so she can get an answer, a reaction from her, so they can use back Vision. So there were a lot of talk. I believe in both of them. I believe that Hayward was the one who is trying to put Wanda and frame her as the bad guy, and I believe also that Wanda is the bad guy who has Vision's body and has created a fake Infinity Stone and was making him play husband in the suburbs. So we all know that all of this turned out wrong, but I'm still talking about them because I am that bitter. Okay, one detail I did not mention is that when they were watching the sitcom that was broadcasted from outside the Hex, they were trying to locate all the people that were actually inside the Hex, because when the Hex was created, all the people that were living in Westview were trapped, and they had this big whiteboard that was made by Jimmy Woo, and they were trying to locate each character that showed up. And it was kind of an interesting detail that all the characters, they had their picture, and they have a picture of of their security number. And then we have Agnes, which was a very important character shown in every episode. She was the nosy neighbor to Wanda and Vision, the neighbor on their right, and she was always there to help them, and she always there to assist Wanda with anything that she needed. So when Agnes was introduced, I had also the idea that Agnes was the one who had all of this happening, and it's kind of turned out to be right, you know, and that was the only thing that turned out to be right from all the crazy theories that I had. Now I'm going to be going back to the comics. In the comics, in one of the issues, Wanda and Vision, they are both married, and Wanda has twins. She used Mephisto's soul to create two boys, Billy and Tommy. But then Mephisto showed up and he absorbed her sons, kind of to take some of her power. I cannot remember. And Wanda has recruited. Okay, I'm talking nonsense right now. So in this issue, we have a character introduced called Agatha Harkness. She is this old lady, and she was babysitting twins, Wanda and Vision's twin. And she was noticing that when Wanda was losing control or sleeping and not focused, the twins disappeared. So she kind of understand that the twins were not real and just a creation of Wanda. She faced her, and Wanda has broke down and said that she has created this twin because she could not have children of her own with Vision, which is, I don't know, it was obvious. I don't understand what we're trying to do, Wanda, but it was kind of obvious. You are married to a toaster. I was thinking that Agnes maybe is Agatha Harkness, because in one of the episodes she was wearing this necklace with a pin that in the comics Agatha was always wearing, and also she wore a lot of purple. There were a lot of purple situation happening, and Agatha Harkness for the comics was known to wear purple. So I was thinking, so maybe Agnes is Agatha, which turned out to be right. Agnes was Agatha Harkness, an old witch who was in the time of the Salem trials, the witch trials that were happening in Salem. So I have this idea thinking that maybe Agatha was the one creating this fake reality and putting Wanda in the middle of it. But why? I thought that maybe she wanted some of Wanda's power, or she was trying to pull something from another dimension, because she was trying to put Wanda through a lot of trials so she can lose control and create a tear between the multi-universe and pull someone who is dead. I don't know, I had this bunch of crazy ideas. Or I also believe that Mephisto is the one who is doing all of this, and Agnes is trying to help her. She was trying to keep Wanda in check because she was always there when Wanda needed anything. So I believe that was the case. This is the only thing that came out to be right. By the 7th episode, I think, it was revealed that Agnes was actually Agatha Harkness, and we get the next episode which tells us a little bit of the backstory of Agatha Harkness. In all the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Wanda Maximoff was always referred to Wanda, where in the comics she is called the Scarlet Witch. So it kind of confused me because I always believed that Wanda Maximoff in the movies is Scarlet Witch, but in the show they are trying to make you understand that the Scarlet Witch is not yet introduced. So this show basically is how the Scarlet Witch name is going to be associated with Wanda Maximoff. And now we see the footage that Hayward has showed the team about Wanda stealing the body of Vision, and we come to understand that Wanda actually never saw the body of Vision and Hayward was lying. And then my stupid mind thought that, okay, this is 100% proving that Hayward is Mephisto, because he is trying to frame Wanda as the wrong person, as the bad guy here. And we have the most heartbreaking moment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because she went to Westview and we see her going downtown till she is in in the suburbs, and she find a place that Vision has bought for them to grow old in, and it was just so heartbreaking. And then she knelt down and she started crying, and the hex was created. So now we see that the hex was created unintentionally by Wanda when she was in grief and she lost control of her powers. I just started to believe that this Mephisto is not going to be showing up, and I felt so stupid. I felt so dumb. And as the director has said, that the show did not need a bad guy, did not need Mephisto, did not need anyone to be introduced as evil, because it is all about the grief and how Wanda was trying to cope with the death of her beloved people. So we get to see what is the Scarlet Witch from a book called The Darkhold. In the comics, the Darkhold is created by this god from another dimension, and in it he said that the Scarlet Witch is not born, she is created. She doesn't need a coven, she doesn't need to cast incarnation. She is this powerful, she can create things, and she is destined to kill the world. I did not learn, because all my theories turned out to be horseshit, but after the show has ended, I had made theories of my mind and of my own, because I had nothing to do with my time. When the episode ended, we see that Wanda was reading the Darkhold book and trying to understand herself and trying to understand the Scarlet Witch powers and all of that. And there's a bit in the last episode when Agnes was just taken down and she told the Scarlet Witch that you don't know what you had unleashed, and it's kind of rang a bell, because in the comics, as I said, the Darkhold was made by this god from another dimension, and whenever the Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, used her power, the fabric between the universes is getting thinner and thinner. And I think that this is going to be discussed in the new movie, the Doctor Strange movie, that somehow the Scarlet Witch is going to be using a lot of her power, which will create a tear in the multi-universe and making this being, this god from another dimension who is destined to end the world, came into our world, and Doctor Strange has to team up with the Scarlet Witch so they can stop him. This is one of the theories that I had when I was reading. And also, I don't believe that we're going to be seeing the last of Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness, because in the comics she helps the Scarlet Witch to understand her power. She is kind of a mentor to her, so I think she's going to be showing up in the next movie also. There's a very crazy theory that I had, and it's about Darcy. We know that Monica, because she has went through the hex twice, she had her cells and her DNA was rewritten multiple times. Now she has the superpower of her own, and she can manipulate the energy. So I was thinking, since Darcy in the last episode was absorbed inside the hex, she is going to be having some kind of a new power, and that led me to a very crazy theories that I had read online and I had investigated, and I now believe that it's going to be coming true. Okay, to put you into context, there's this Loki comics that I'm going to be putting here because I forgot the name of, and it is centers around Loki, and he is resurrected as this young boy and trying to make amends of all the things that he has done in the past. And he met this person called, oh my god, I forgot the name of this person, but he met this person, and this person has a superpower that no one can lie to their face. She can know when someone is lying. She always knows the truth, and she looks so similar to Darcy. I'm going to be putting the two pictures together to see the similarity between them. So I'm thinking, since Darcy was absorbed inside the hex, where she was seeking the truth of what is actually happening in Westview, she is going to be having the superpower to know the truth and knowing that when someone is lying to her. Because at the last episode we don't see her, we see Jimmy Woo, we see everyone, basically everyone who were in the show since the beginning. But Darcy, when they asked Jimmy about where's Darcy, she said that she wanted to learn the truth from the residents of Westview. So I think that we are going to be seeing Darcy in the new show that is going to be out on June. So this is crazy and wishful thinking, but it will be so amazing if Darcy is introduced another time in all of the Marvel Cinematic project that we're going to be dropping in the next years, because I love Darcy. I love the character, and I love the actor and the way that she is portrayed. She is so funny, and I cannot get enough of Darcy. And I've read online that the actor has said that there are a lot of projects that is going to be involved, and we are going to be seeing a lot of Darcy. So finger crossed that my theory came out true, because if it does, I'm not going to be shutting up about it. I'm going to be talking about it all the time. Okay, before I end this video, I just wanted to share with you my makeshift whiteboard that I had behind me. It is a last minute project, as you can see, because it's held together with washi tape and just low quality pictures, but I wanted to have a visual representation of whatever I'm talking about. So, what did we learn today? That I am someone who has a lot of time on their hands. Actually, I don't. I have a lot of things to do, but I just enjoy talking about stuff online. I enjoy being stupid and nerdy and making research and reading Marvel comics and interacting with people. And to be honest, I would not be filming this video if it was not for the people that I always annoy about this. So shout out to them, they know themselves. Thank you so much for listening to me when I was just rambling about stupid things and stupid theories that turned out to be wrong. I don't think I am going to be that excited about all the projects that Marvel are going to be dropping in the next year. This is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you had enjoyed it, if I should be making other video like this, because I have a lot of theories to discuss, either about shows, about books, about anything. I am happy to be talking about stuff on the internet. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you in another normal video which is about books. Saying thank you and see you. Bye.